Real cost of cutting corners on fleet vehicle maintenance. It happens on the coldest morning of the year, and it never happens to just one vehicle. Two trucks in the yard will not turn over. Both batteries have been marginal since fall. Nobody tested them because nobody had time and because they had always started before. The third truck fires, pulls out loaded and running late, and dies 20 minutes later with a shredded serpentine belt. The same belt the technician had flagged as cracked months earlier on a work order that got approved for everything except that one line item. Now 3 vehicles are down, a full day of appointments is gone, and the phone is ringing with customers who arranged their morning around a crew that is not coming. What happens in the hours after that tells you almost everything about how a business is actually ran. Some operators scramble. They call whoever they can take the vehicle the fastest, approve the cheapest quote because urgency takes a low number. Urgency makes a low number feel like good judgment. Get the truck back and put them right into rotation without ever asking why 3 things failed on the same morning. 6 weeks later, something else goes down for a related reason, and nobody connects the events. Other operators barely react because their vehicles are already on schedule. Batteries were load tested before the season turned. The belt was replaced the day it was flagged. The work was performed on planned days and planned bays with routes covered before anything came off the road. Their bad morning is just a morning. The difference between these two businesses is not luck. It is not fleet side. It is not budget. It is whether the work is being done correctly the first time by people who understand that a work vehicle is not a car. It is a revenue-producing asset with a job to do and a schedule that other people are depending on. This is about what is genuinely costs. When that principle gets ignored, and why the operators who take maintenance seriously quietly outperform everyone around them. You say the word fleet, and most people picture 100 matching box trucks behind a chain link fence. That is not what most fleets look like. A fleet is far more often 4 service vans belonging to an HVAC contractor. It is 6 pickups and 2 trailers for a landscaping company that runs hard from spring through fall, then hangs plows on everything when the season turns. It is a plumbing outfit with 3 trucks crossing a metro area a dozen times a day. It is a tree service, a masonry contractor, a pool company, an alarm installer, a mobile welding rig, a courier, a general contractor with 2 flatbeds and a dump truck, a caterer, a medical transport service, a nonprofit with 2 passenger vans carrying people who are counting on being picked up. If your business depends on vehicles arriving somewhere on time, you operate a fleet. The unit count does not matter. The dependency does. And that dependency changes the entire calculation around maintenance. A personal car that breaks down creates inconvenience, and it's no fun. We all know it's no fun, and it will happen at the most inconvenient time possible, right? A fleet vehicle that breaks down creates a chain reaction. Customers waiting, employees standing around on the clock, appointments collapsing, overtime tomorrow to recover what was lost today, and reputation damage that never appears itemized on any statement. So here's a quick tip. Write down everything one full day of downtime actually disrupts for a single vehicle. Missed stops, rescheduled customers, paid labor with nothing to do, overtime to catch up. Most operators have never done this exercise. The result is almost always far larger than the repair that would have prevented it. Work vehicles, they don't live the life their service schedule assumes. Fleet vehicles do not live an easy life, and it's worth being specific about why. Almost every mistake operators make about maintenance traces back to a single wrong assumption that mileage describes condition. It does not. Stop and go destroys brake and transmission faster than the distance does. Idle time accumulates engine hours, nothing on the dash reports. I mean, when you're talking about big fleets, you're talking about a Caterpillar or something like that, then they have how long the engine's been running. I mean, they've got sensors that report how long it's been running. And then payload, it changes everything. I mean, if your van's carrying tools, parts, materials, equipment operates near its limits every single day, suspension components, wheel bearings, tires, brakes wear on an entirely different curve than they would on an empty vehicle. Towing multiplies all of it. Terrain determines thermal load, and heat is the enemy in one climate, water is the enemy in another, and salt is the enemy in the third. And you got, the freeze thaw cycling and construction wreck that payments your vehicles work on. And then you got dust and debris and job site access, load filtration faster than any scheduled assumes. So you really need to track engine hours alongside mileage if your vehicles idle heavily. Two vans with identical odometer readings can be dramatically different mechanical conditions. Hours are the honest tiebreaker. And then, there is one more factor that separates well-ran fleets from struggling ones, and it's entirely predictable, which is exactly what makes ignoring it so expensive. Inspections, emissions, and registration requirements arrive on a calendar. They vary by state, by county, and by how a vehicle is classified. Commercially registered units often carry obligations that passenger vehicles do not. Renewal dates land across the fleet on staggered dates throughout the year, and each of those dates is a day in which the vehicle either can or cannot legally operate. For a single personal car, this is a minor errand. For a fleet, especially a mixed fleet where different rules apply to different vehicles sitting in the same yard, it is a reoccurring scheduling event. Fleets that plan for it treat compliance as a checkpoint. Requirements are confirmed per vehicle, conditions get verified ahead of the deadline, and anything that would fail gets addressed on a chosen day, and the paperwork becomes a formality. Fleets that do not plan for it discover the problem in the worst possible moment. A vehicle that cannot legally roll. It's just not good. So, quick tip. Build a compliance calendar listing every vehicle's registration class, renewal date, and applicable requirements side by side. Then schedule a condition check 30 days ahead of each one. Turning a deadline into a planned appointment is one of the easiest operational wins to a small fleet. I mean, and then you got some real costs that are out there. When operators compare shops, they compare quotes. Line item against line item. Lowest number wins the job. But the quote is the smallest part of the repair actually costs. The real expense lives in the place that never appears on the invoice. Rework. A repair done wrong does not stay done. The vehicle comes back, you pay for the diagnosis again, the labor again, the parts again, and critically the downtime again. And you now have paid twice for one outcome and lost 2 productive days instead of 1. The least expensive repair available for everyone is the one that gets performed once. And then misdiagnosis. It's huge, huge. And don't forget about secondary damage. And don't forget about the liability and documentation exposure. I mean, you're operating in public. It carries your name, your logo, your phone number down every road you work. If a brake system fails, a tire separates, a trailer connection lets go, or a steering component breaks, the question that follows is not gentle. When was it last inspected? Who performed the work? Where's the documentation? What was found? What was recommended? And what was declined? A shop that documents thoroughly is not generating paperwork for its own amusement. It is building the defensible maintenance record that protects your business. A shop that hands you a receipt with 4 words on it has given you nothing to stand behind. And then don't forget about your driver's trust and retention. I mean, they don't want to drive. They don't want to be breaking down. They don't want to be working for a company that's not taking care of their vehicle. It doesn't have their safety in mind. So, you just actually need to do it right the first time. We need to really understand some simple basics when it comes to fleets. And then there's a thing called the fleet triangle. So make sure that you understand that completely as well. So the fleet triangle is straightforward and simple. It's money, It is speed and it's quality. No business is going to be able to give you all three. It's just not feasible. It's not possible. I mean, they won't make any money. They'll go out of business. So for a shop to stay profitable, you're going to pick two out of the three. So if you pick speed, because you know that you want your fleet vehicle in and out, done quickly, and you want good quality so that you know that you can trust the repairs, then you're going to pay for it. I mean, it's going to cost a lot of money. So if somebody's giving you, quote, fast service and supposed quality parts at a cheap price, it's not real. It's not sustainable, so it's not real. You might have gotten lucky on one thing, one time with one shop, and the shop might be subsidizing your fleet for whatever reason. But again, it's not sustainable. The bigger you get, the more work that's done on that fleet, ultimately, the more it's going to have an impact on that shop or any shop. So understand, if you want it done fast and you want it done with really good quality product, then it's going to cost real money. And if you're sitting there thinking that you're saving money by not, you took the lowest quote. It's not going to work. It's not sustainable. Stay safe, stay strong.